Welcome to the Backlash.
Wow.
That's how this is going to start. I am your host, Rebecca Hargraves, joined as always by Mr. Dave Riley. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great. How are you?
It's been a rough week.
It's been a rough week. Why is it a rough week? It's been great. We've had 3 live streams.
3 live streams. That's too many live streams.
It's wonderful. We're almost up to our goal of 5 live streams per week, 1 a day.
That's never going to happen.
I think we should do a morning show.
No.
We should go head to head with Steven Crowder. People need good content in the morning when they're waking up, drinking their coffee out of their exclusive Backlash mug, which can be purchased online at
You are the
backlash.net.
shill extraordinaire.
The coffee actually tastes better because of the mug.
These mugs are pieces of shit.
Buy them
But
online.
you should still buy them. You can find us on X at Real Backlash, our website, thebacklash.net. Support us on subscribestar.com/thebacklash, patreon.com/thebacklash. Send your super chats that will be read live, especially for Mr. Academic Agent, to thebacklash.net/super chat.
Please use our crypto super chat one. It's the green one.
Or use our crypto super chat. Yeah. Fine. Sub to us on YouTube at Real Backlash.
What they are afraid of. Ooh, it autoplays.
Autoplays on Rumble. That's Backlash Podcast. Check out our Instagram, which is on our website, our TikTok, which is on our website. Thank you for joining us today. A brief thanks to our sponsors. Atlas Bullion Premier, Gold and Silver Dealer, North Idaho Tallow, providers of skincare without endocrine disruptors, and Antelope Hill, the people that will publish anything without further ado. This is perhaps the interview that I have been the most excited for. I've been trying to get you on. I've been trying to hammer this down. I've been badgering you. I've been up in your DMs just for ages. I'm like, you're going to come on my show. And you're like, and now you're here. I did it. Academic Agent, how are you today?
Well, thanks for having me, Rebecca and Dave. Now I have to say something. I'm not calling you out here, but I did watch your show with Devon and Adam Green. And you started saying, this is the most excited I've ever been. So I bet you say that to all your guests, don't you?
Oh, I was really excited for that one too. But that was a retribution thing because Dave put me on with Dr. Jack Cruz, who is a world-class asshole. And he just spent the whole time roasting me. I had no idea he was going to spend. So I was all mad at Dave, because I'm passive aggressive. And so I'm like, how can I get back at Dave?
Woman moment.
I know. How could I get back at Dave? And then I was like, I'm going to have Adam Green and Devin Stack on to double team you.
Based.
It was a 3-on-1. It was a classic WWE beatdown. Sorry, Dave.
Oh yeah.
I watched it. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. And you know what? Afterwards, I felt better. I felt like justice has been restored in the universe. I slept better that night.
Wonderful. But then it was the night after that you started not being able to sleep?
Yeah.
Because I've got the Apple Watch. Speaking of digital IDs and tracking you, I've got an Apple Watch. And I got it to keep track of my heart rate and how much sleep I get at night. And I've been getting some heavy REM recently. It's been nice. Ever since school started, the kids are really knocked out. And
so Dave, he just marches into the show the other day. He's like, I got 4 cycles of REM sleep last night.
Let's
and
see
I'm
how much I got
with
last
my
night.
coffee and awake all night. And I was trying to fall asleep last night. I was thinking about Dave and his 4 cycles of REM sleep. It filled me with murderous rage.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cycles of REM
Shut
for
up,
a
Dave.
core of
This isn't what we're going to talk about. So I wanted to talk.
Look at that, an hour and 35 minutes of
Bro,
REM.
come on, man.
That's the sweet stuff.
I have to tell you guys, I'm a lifelong insomniac.
Oh.
And so I know a needless amount about all of this, right? I tried everything, pillows, sleeping in this position, all a load of wank. Melatonin works. It's the only thing.
Oh yeah,
right?
I'll take it
Therapy,
sometimes.
it's all bollocks. Bollocks. Just take melatonin. It sorted me out.
Noted.
My dad started to, I think he started taking melatonin too.
It's also neuroprotective, so melatonin is quite good for you.
Nicotine, which you can get from.
Well,
they're not a sponsor. Stop shilling.
I went to see the doctor, and he was like, "Yeah, you don't really produce any melatonin or serotonin." I was like, "Well, that probably explains why I can't experience joy or love or anything like that." and so, I think I've got some weird thing and deficiency of it.
Oh, well, it has made you extra rational. And I have a lot of questions about digital ID. I want to talk about that, but we were unable to put it in the title of this show. Dave tried multiple times. It was some wonky YouTube thing that makes me suspicious.
Yeah, like the other day with the Adam Green show, right? In the title, I have J **S, right? Because it wouldn't let me do a live stream with Jews in the title. It just it does wonky stuff every now and again. It'll just like not work, and so then I'll just kind of rearrange things and try deleting sections.
Good Lord.
Anyway, it didn't like the word digital ID in the title.
Well, I've been following this digital ID thing very closely, and I've seen a surprising amount of right-wing support that they actually believe that the government is going to use this to stop immigrants from working legally. I'm like, okay, that they could have done this a number of ways before introducing a digital ID. Are you seeing that on the ground?
Not really. I would say that both, rightists, normies, I'd say, if I had to guess, about 90% of the country is against it.
Good.
But this is one of these things that has been on my radar for a very long time, because one of my kind of special pet hobbies is just tracking Tony Blair, who I call the Dark Lord. I've been watching him for years. And when Tony Blair was the Prime Minister about 20 years ago, he was only ever defeated a couple of times in the House of Commons. You know, they have votes like they have votes in Congress. But Blair never lost. You know, everything was a done deal. Everything was a fait accompli. Like, it was done, right? But he wanted to bring in ID cards back then, and he was defeated. And a man like Tony Blair does not take. Well, I often say he never gets defeated. He only gets temporary setbacks. And since then, he has relentlessly pursued ID cards for Britain, which has then, over time, obviously, with technology, become digital ID. He's a very powerful figure. He is backed by Bill Gates, who people remember from COVID, is quite a dark character himself. And his number one backer is Larry Ellison, who is also the number one backer of the IDF and a big backer of Donald Trump. Blair is not, for most people, he's just like, oh, that guy who used to hang around with George Bush and used to be the Prime Minister of the UK. Actually, he's one of the world's most powerful men. He has something called the Tony Blair Institute, which has now into the thousands of employees. He is in dozens of countries. He runs, he's the advisor. I made a list of all of the places he advises. It's like pretty much every African country, every Middle Eastern country. He unofficially advises Keir Starmer. He is constantly meeting state leaders, even though he has no official position in the UK government. Tony, the reason I call him the Dark Lord is because this guy is like, in real life, Emperor Palpatine. And of course, he is one of the few. So, when we're kind of analyzing power, I often talk about globalists or techno-globalists and Zionists as two rival factions. The globalists like WEF, Klaus Schwab, Davos, and these are the people who act as the villains for the right in America, right? And for the right here. And then you have the Zionists, who you guys know all too well, because they're crawling all over the Republican Party and the Trump administration, and it's Ben Shapiro and so on. And usually we see those two factions at loggerheads, but somehow, for reasons I still, after years of studying, don't quite understand, Tony Blair straddles both of those things. So he's had an extraordinary week, because he not only got his lifetime dream of imposing digital ID on the UK pretty much top down without any sort of popular consent at all, but also he was touted to be the new viceroy of Gaza, which came out of nowhere. This is something that is pretty extraordinary, because Labour, Keir Starmer, when they were elected, did not have this in their manifesto. When they first came in, I think you can track the date, 7th of July, 2024, they said they ruled it out. They said, we will not do digital ID. And everybody said to me, CAA, you were wrong. You overestimated Blair. I said, I didn't. You watch. Just you watch. He will surround Starmer until he's forced to do it. And now, this week, out of nowhere, he's just come out and announced, yeah, we're going to do it. So there it is. And it's a pretty scary thing because, nobody quite, they're saying, at the moment it's just for, immigrants who are working here and so on. It's just for, to crack down on illegal work.
But everybody has
like
to get one.
But also it's mandatory. So a lot of people are like, well, what does this actually mean? Is it going to come down to they're going to be tracking what you buy and sell on eBay? Are they going to be tracking, when you make a purchase in a shop, right? And then is that going to be linked in some way to your online, is it going to be like a social credit system, something like this? All sorts of questions. And then even beyond that, there are questions about security, of course. That is can it be hacked? Is people's data going to be stolen? And then the bit that I don't see anybody talking about is the fact that the Blair is, the contracts are going to go to Blair's mates. Who do you think is going to implement the digital ID? It's going to be Microsoft and Oracle in a set of public-private partnerships, which is essentially giving state data, state assets to massive big tech firms.
What could possibly go wrong?
Oh yeah. Just hand over.
This is a kind of dystopian. This is basically building the Matrix. And where this gets interesting is that these same figures, these same big tech figures, are also mates with Donald Trump. Peter Thiel and Palantir and Elon Musk and Larry Ellison, they're all on the same page. Mark Andreessen, but they're based AA. But the thing is, they want to bring in this control grid. It's the same guy, by the way, Larry Ellison, who's just booked TikTok.
Yeah.
And what did he do overnight? He started to censor TikTok. You're not allowed to say things on there anymore. They literally just banned the orange juice symbol on there. You can't post that on TikTok anymore.
Juice box.
I saw. Or people have had videos taken down for really quite innocuous things now on there, just for like mentioning APAC and things like this. And these are basically the people that this digital ID is going to empower. And the America, see, this is where I get a little bit frustrated with, online rights and Americans. The British online right are probably more retarded than the American one, which is saying something, right? But this is where people have got like, that could never happen here because of First Amendment, and Trump will never do that to us. Listen, they're telling you to your face they're going to do it. When Curtis Yarvin gets up there, literally backed by these guys, and says, "Oh, look, what we want is a kind of tech oligarchy, new monarchy type thing." He's talking about these exact same people.
Oh, right. We watched a clip of Netanyahu yesterday.
Telling you to your face, we are going to build this.
Yes,
and it's going to be feudal, and you're going to love it. That's basically, so it's the same cell, just from a different angle in America. And I just think people should, just see things clearly and not get wrapped up in the emotion of whatever's happening in the current moment, right. which is basically impossible. I noticed you called the stream, something about slop or slopulism or whatever. At this point, the right is so cringy, Rebecca. I'm saying I'm center left because I don't want any. I just don't want to be associated with the absolute cringe fest that we're witnessing. On both sides of the pond, really.
Oh, absolutely. You did an excellent video.
I'm retarded, but your lot are just as retarded, so I don't know what to say. Yeah.
You did an excellent video. You've mentioned Candace Owens and Slop content multiple times, and I continue to check in on her views, on Tucker's views, and the views that these people are getting are just incredible. Candace Owens, during this Charlie thing, she's averaging 10 million views on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's
Huge.
I just
Biggest
cannot
podcast
believe
in the
it.
world.
So why do you think that we are so dumb on the right? Why do you think people desire this content? We talk a lot about short form content and dopamine release, but Candace is long form content, and people are just eating it up. They're slopping it up. So
Slurp a derp.
what is the psychology behind the desire to consume this?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should probably delineate between what I'm talking about and Candace Owens a minute. Okay, Candace Owens is basically right-wing Oprah, right?
Yeah.
Right. If you watch her stuff, okay, she's got like 10 minutes of conspiracy stuff, right? And then very quickly it gets into Candace's drama. Who's she feuding with this week? Now she's had a fight with Nick Fuentes. Now she's had a fight with this person. Now she's calling this person out. You know, it's basically like it's a soap opera. It's pro wrestling again, right? But it's kind of more in the kind of Oprah or Jerry Springer mode. So that's what Candace Owens is about. I mean, I have a theory that her role, and I don't have much to prove this, by the way. I am convinced that Candace Owens, if anybody in the actual information space at all sows disinfo, it's probably her, right? And I've got various reasons for thinking that. But yeah, so I would put her to one side a little bit because the scale of her is, and her audience is a bit different. I imagine a lot of women watch her, right? I'm talking about like just like the rank and file online, right? Your feed, your timeline, okay? Imagine a field that is absolutely covered in rakes, okay? And imagine you step on 3 of those rakes, right? It smashed you in the face and broken your nose 3 times already. There's something wrong with righteous because after doing that, you'd think you'd learn, but they then want to step on the 4th rake and the 5th one and the 6th one and the 7th one, you know, because this time it's happening, this time it's real, etc., etc. And when you point it out in the moment, people call you all sorts of things. And then 2 weeks later, everybody's forgotten about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's news cycle after news cycle again and again. I mean, and what Trump has done, which is genius in a way, is he's managed to hook people on these news cycles that are really quite quick turnaround, and then nobody remembers anything. Nobody remembers anything ever, right? Or arguments you had just a couple of months ago. Give you an example. Liberation Day. Do you remember that? Crock of shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Total
I
disaster.
fell out with people over that. I said, look, this is not going to do anything. This is like, oh, it's the end of globalization, AA. It's the end of Try America. It's the end. Jobs are going to come back. This is it. This is what we voted for. I said, look, they made up the sums. The formula doesn't work. This is bollocks. And within the space of a week, he'd gone back on all of those announcements and all of those things. He went back on each one of them, and then he cut to China. And now here we are, 9 months later. Does anybody remember Liberation Day? Does anybody talk about Liberation Day? Did anybody like? And this is the thing: people move from news cycle to news cycle, racking up these L's, and then they forget about them because now the most important thing is the next thing. Now it's Charlie. Well, we've even moved on from Charlie Kirk already.
Here.
Now it's some other bullshit. You know what I mean? So
you don't get to ask those questions.
This is the issue. It's kind of slop brain.
What's wrong with you, Mom?
No, now I'm going to have really weird dreams. Thanks a lot.
I know, right?
That clip is circulating. The most recent iteration of this, though, was the H-1B visa thing. Everybody's like, oh, well, H-1Bs, it's going to be over because it's going to be $100,000 a year. It's going to be too expensive. And we have Lutnick coming out saying repeatedly, annual is $100,000 a year, $100,000 a year. And then it comes out, it's $100,000 per new visa, which basically affects us none.
Right. And by the way, isn't this like the 9th time that we've had the H-1B fight, even within the last year?
Yeah.
Remember, we had forget. The one that was the Elon Musk go fuck yourself in the face.
Yeah.
That was one fight.
Yeah.
Now we've got a new, and it's like, I feel like on a hamster wheel.
It's so infuriating because if you tell your audience, no, this is more of the same, it's more of the same, don't get hooked into this, they'll be like, you doomer bitch, why are you so negative? You want everything to fail. I'm like, I want people to be realistic about what's coming down the pipeline so that we can be more prepared. You have to accept the reality of the situation we're in. People are, they do not want to hear it. They don't want to hear it.
No. People like, go ahead.
Let me just tell it to you straight on this, okay? When Tony Blair was spent all summer, day and night, not sleeping, implementing digital ID, the British right spent the entire summer climbing up and down lampposts and putting flags up and declaring a massive culture war victory, right? And I was saying, like, look, this is just going to be, this energy is going to be sapped up. It's going to all go to Nigel Farage. There's going to be this big Tommy rally that's going to happen. And it's not going to amount, it's not going to actually, like that energy is going to be sucked up and fed into electoral politics. And the upshot of it is going to be Prime Minister Nigel Farage, who, I mean, if Trump is a fake, God knows about Nigel, okay? And see, the thing is with Trump, I've come up with something now, right, which I call Trump's law. I don't know if you're familiar with this. Trump's law is everything he does, everything, and I mean everything he does for them. Who's them? That little country in the Middle East. He does it for, it's always for Israel, right? And it'll come wrapped as based. It'll come wrapped in some kind of thing designed to appeal to you lot. But when you actually look into it, it will ultimately be because of Israel. Like, for example, remember there was that whole thing about bringing the white South Africans back. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Remember there was that whole, right. Now, what was that actually about? That was actually about South Africa being the country to take Israel to the International Court of Criminal Justice for genocide. Right. So they attacked South Africa specifically for Israel, but they sold it as based because, right, in order to get the support of these people who want to believe that Trump is there for them. But when you start to notice this pattern, you then start to notice that the stuff that is for the base is always done in this kind of manner that can easily be reversed or overturned. Right? It'll be an executive order, judge strikes it down, doesn't go through Congress, doesn't get through properly. It's not properly done. Something that can easily be, like in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month's time, it can easily be walked back or undone. Whereas when it's stuff for them, every I is dotted, every T is crossed. And I first noticed this actually back in when, do you remember Ron DeSantis passed something called the Stop Woke Act? Do you remember that?
No.
In Florida?
No.
Right. So Ron DeSantis passed something called the Stop Woke Act. This was back before we even knew Trump was going to.
Was this where they instituted some kind of reform in kindergartens about tranny propaganda?
Right, so
or was it the time that he went to Israel to like clamp down on free speech?
Right. So this is where I was coming from. So the Stop Woke Act, at the same time as he did that, he did this anti-Semitism bill, right? And he won like the medal for Zionist Hero Award or something. He's actually like standing there with a medal from Israel for services to them or whatever. Okay. And you just read those two acts side by side, right? The Stop Woke Act and the anti-Semitism one. The anti-Semitism one is tightly defined. There is absolutely no legal ambiguity to it. There's no like there's just no wriggle room at all. It's done to the letter. The Stop Woke one clearly is just done for there's so much wiggle room there. It's so much ambiguity. Clearly, there is a difference between the one that was done for the base and for the cameras and the one that they were actually serious about. And that's something that you can, that's something that Trump has continued while he's in office. And a lot of things wind me up with it, because once you see this pattern, you see that and I sympathize with Devon Stack, right? Because Devon Stack recognized this 6 years ago, right? And he pulls his hair out because people fall for it again and again and again. Doesn't matter how many times you point it out, because on the next one, they've already forgotten it again. But yeah, once you see Trump's law, you will not unsee it. Yeah, I mean, and there are lots of things that annoy me. Like, oh yeah, one of my least favorite things is base Stephen Miller. Oh, he's one of the good ones. He's like, oh, come on.
The Hebrew hammer.
Like the meme of oh yeah, come on. He's one of, how can you be against this one? And it's like, come on, you have to see what this is about. They are wearing your nationalism, your populism as a skin suit to garner support.
Absolutely. Right.
For Israel. And it's a trick. Once you see the trick, how can you unsee the trick?
What are we supposed to do with these normies? Because I understand where Devin is coming from, of course. But I think if we don't play into this narrative, I worry that none of us will ever gain any kind of alternative media popularity, like in a meaningful way. I don't really think that we need to get the movement going, but I would like to capture some of those people, although I've completely lost faith in the normie.
Well, I mean, there's two different things there, right? One of the things you have to understand is that online politics, right, by which I mean this show, my show, tweets and things, aren't actual politics, right? It's a kind of form of shared entertainment, or but it's not, cannot substitute for politics, because politics is always organization. Lots of it is boring, it's logistics, and it has to be an organized minority, or you might say a vanguard, right? And it has to be in the real world. So there's a two different set of incentives, right? Because if you want to start a political movement, okay, what you're looking for is a dedicated, tight-knit group of people who all think the same thing, who are actually going to be prepared to roll their sleeves up and do stuff in the real world. That is all, politics ever, revolutionary movements, and even just normal political parties. That's what politics is. Online streams, online shows is different. So if you want to maximize your audience, if it's just about eyeballs, then yeah, you can just say stuff that's going to please the audience, right? You can come on here every day and say, we're winning so much, guys. Trump is really going to smash the left this time, and there are plenty of channels who do that, and they do get hundreds and thousands of views, millions of views, because people like hope, people like optimism.
Can you see this photo?
I'm a realist who will. How can I put it? Like, I can maybe I've got like some autistic problem where I can only just tell the truth, like some form of weird Tourette's where I can't do it. I will not go there. And now, see, the thing is, we've just lived through and we've just witnessed the first 9 months of Trump. Now in Britain, the exact same play, like it's so embarrassing. They're literally rerunning the same script, right, of Keir Starmer versus Nigel Farage. Okay, do you remember the whole reason to vote for Trump is because Kamala was so much worse? Well, in this country, Labour are so bad, they're so awful, right? Yeah, Nigel's not perfect. Yes, Richard Tice is kissing the wall, blah, blah, blah. But, we have to, and this is the thing, this is the neatest trick of democracy, of liberal democracy, is they'll give you literally a massive shit as one thing, and you're like, well, I don't want that. And you're like, okay, well, here's a shit with a flower in it. And I'll be like, right, no, okay, I'll give it, it's still a piece of shit. Yeah, but it's got a flower in it though. Right, and this is the thing. And it's the same thing in every single election, right? I mean, I voted for Boris Johnson to keep Jeremy Corbyn out. And when that happened, and he came in and he did the Boris wave, the biggest amount of immigration ever, I said never again. And then in the last election, I led a campaign called Zero Seats to destroy the Tory party, right? I.e., they don't deserve to be a party ever again. due to the betrayal of Boris Wave. Okay, and it was we didn't quite destroy them. They still got 100 seats or something, but they are massively diminished, and they look like they're about to go extinct. Okay, and I'm pleased with those results that we managed to destroy the Tories. But now, in a way, it's back to square one. I always used to say that the Tory party is like T-1000. You know, like you ever seen Terminator 2?
Yeah, of course.
Like you've covered him in liquid nitrogen. You've blown him up. He's in a million pieces, and now the bits of mercury are coming back together again. And I'm like, look, the Tories, they're down, but we have to actually destroy them, because otherwise T-1000 is going to come back. But the system is so clever, and so it's got like so many of these layers of defense that they're literally just recreating the Tories in reform now.
Right.
Right, they're just and literally Tory MPs are going over there now, and the right wing press and the Daily Mail and so on. They're all like suddenly they're all right with Farage now,
but
just like they're all right with Trump now.
There's a growing sentiment, of course, across the West that there is no political solution, which I'm happy to see that coming forth. But we've been covering on the show the insane number of riots in the UK, and it seems like even digital IDs. In effect, would not stop this organic movement towards violent reform. And I don't think that they're going to be successful in stopping it. Do you think that the British people have had enough?
Well, when you say the insane number of riots, what do you mean?
Well, okay, I mean, I suppose we're not on the ground, so we're just seeing it on Twitter.
See, this is the thing, though, right? This is the thing, and it's one of the strangest things, because if you're an American right winger, all you ever see of Britain is the shit that goes on your timeline, right?
Yes.
So in your mind, I'm literally living in a caliphate. Okay, there's just like literally, I walk down the street and there are rapes going on. You know, and
is that not happening? Is that what you're saying?
It's just like anything. It's just like if I came to America and spent all day filming in like, you know, inner city Chicago. Yeah. And then presented that as the entire country.
Right. Of course, yeah.
It's kind of right. So, but the idea that there's been continuous riots is not really true. What Southport was, okay, the Southport riots, which was the one that hit all the headlines, is that you know, there was this terrible murder, the terrible set of murders by this young man who was from a Rwandan background.
Yes.
And the locals, you know. I mean, they call it a riot. A few people kicked over a few bins and things. And what the British state did, what Starmer did, is he kind of like begged it up into being more than it was, and quickly put all these people in jail. Right? In like they had these expedited, sped up trials, and put like 100 people in jail really quickly. And then he gave this speech, and he called all these people far right and things like that. Then what happened is that some people on Twitter said, well, we're going to have more of these protests / riot things. Funnily, it was Douglas Murray, Katie Hopkins, who were, you know, Katie Hopkins was kind of unbanned mysteriously a couple of weeks beforehand. Tommy, who came back to X as well. But I remember distinctly Katie Hopkins and Douglas Murray, they released all these dates. Right, they released all these dates, and again, I was on Twitter saying, "Yeah, guys, this is obviously like some sort of gay. Like this is obviously some sort of trap. Don't go to this, right? Because this is a setup. You can just smell it a mile off. Okay, when they're when internationally renowned figures, journalists, and so on are sharing dates, something's up. And what ended up happening is that." The kind of astroturfed stand for racism kind of pussy march crowd, you know, the anti-racist crowd, who obviously just paid by the state, turned up to these. Nobody actually turned up to them, apart from like a couple of handful of idiots, right? And so they were outnumbered. The racists were outnumbered by the anti-racists. And then every single newspaper on the same day, I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to find this, right? But it's amazing. Every single newspaper that day, right wing, left wing, middle, whatever, they all ran the exact same headline saying anti-racism was won, right? Showing these kind of AstroTurf counter-protesters. So that was just obviously the security state, the intelligence services, MI5 kicking in and running this narrative, right, in that moment. See, the thing is, that happened, and then everybody forgot that happened. This is what winds me up. People just forget, like, stuff that happened a couple of weeks ago. That only happened last year. I lived through it in real time. And so fast forward to now, and I mean, have there really been any more riots? There was a protest outside some migrant hotels a couple of weeks back where things started to kick off. People have been putting up flags. Then there was this Tommy rally, which wasn't a riot. It was a huge rally in London, free speech march. I think police said 150,000 people went, which is big. A lot of people said there were more people there, 500,000, up to 1 million. Some people claimed, but that was not a riot. That was just a kind of rally. And I mean, as I said, the energy builds up to that something like that, and then it dissipates, and then it doesn't go anywhere.
Do you find hope in the remigration movement?
Say that again, sorry?
Do you have hope in the remigration movement?
So when you say movement, what do you mean? Like people who want remigration to be a thing?
Martin Sellner is kind of the front man in Austria. They've been doing a lot of work in Austria, Germany, France to remigrate immigrants to their country.
I mean, the thing is, the kind of the various rights of these different countries don't really have much contact, if that makes any sense. So I'm aware. I think I spoke to him once, Selner, and you know, I've come across him, but it's like what they're doing doesn't really marry up to what's happening. What's happening here is very much bound up with kind of national level, local politics. So it's like, I guess, again, you guys sitting in America, you think, oh, well, over in Europe. But you have to remember, like, these are all different countries. Britain, France, Germany, they don't really have much crossover.
I was under the impression that these movements in Europe were somewhat united and coordinated. This is untrue. I know Martin works closely with people from Poland, people from Germany, France.
Yeah, I mean, there may be on the continent. There may be some coordination between some of those, you know, Austrians and Germans, say, or something like that. But the British scene, as far as I understand it, doesn't have that much crossover. And if I'm honest, the biggest crossover between any of the different groups is the Zionist network that backs populism in every country. That's the biggest crossover. So, you know, like the same people who back Tommy, you know, maybe there's one up in Canada, isn't there? Is it Rebel?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're Zionist.
Yeah.
You know, they're all over America, of course, and they have tentacles in every, you know, Geert Wilders is another one, and they've got their own variants in France as well. So I would say that I mean, you can always tell when it's them, because there's a very, very strong emphasis on counter jihad. Like the big focus is always on Islam with those people.
See, this is why,
and of course they just love Israel. They'll just tell you that they love Israel as well. So.
See, this is why we have Cameron camped out over in Central Europe now. He's going to be the one to bring all of these
bring
people
them all together.
This is why the Backlash exists, is to create our own version of this that isn't controlled by Zionists. So definitely.
Do you think that institution of the digital ID is going to basically prevent any future grassroots movement that is anti-immigration?
I mean, I honestly think that even without digital ID, the security state almost makes it impossible, not just here, but in America as well. I think that they are drawn, because politics is all about organization. As soon as any group forms and starts to get organized or start to look like they're organizing, they'll be in there. They'll infiltrate it. They'll survey it. They'll spy on it. They'll be in there. And this is one of the things, right? When people look, I just made a video actually on whether Farage is a stepping stone to fascism, right? Because some people have this idea that these populist parties can be like a stepping stone, right? They can create conditions that, you know, you'll then get like a 21st century version of Mussolini or something. But that security state didn't exist, for example, in the Weimar Republic or in Italy before Mussolini came in. You have to understand that the state, our state, is built on a single principle: never again. The state is an anti-fascist state, right? So it is super vigilant. It is super switched on to anything that looks like it's moving in that direction, and they'll be in there.
What are we supposed to do here? What do we do?
I mean, it's a tricky one because they are pie hot on that particular thing. They're you know, and obviously, you know, I'm not saying don't try to organize politically, but probably the safest way you can do it is just by getting involved in local level politics. You know, here we have local councils and things, but I would run independent. I would try to do it independently, because if it starts to look like a big centralized thing, you'll have the eye of Sauron on you, and that's just the reality. That is just the reality of it. And
this is so horribly depressing.
It is what it is.
Yes,
you know?
Yes, indeed. I think we had a few questions come in for you that we would like to address.
We do have a couple.
Thank you, guys. We only read $10 and up for show length purposes. I'm sorry.
True. Let's start over on Entropy. D Widget sent $15. I grow increasingly tired of people on the right who are vote believers. They chastise you if you don't vote because they hold this vision in their mind that voting is actually doing something and solving an issue.
Yes, exactly.
It gets tiring.
I do not vote.
I vote.
Why? Why bother?
Because who's on the local city council and who's on the local school boards and the water district boards and the highway districts, that all matters.
I suppose I should vote locally, but...
That matters. I don't think I'm ever going to vote for president again. Maybe until 2036 when Nicolas J. Fuentes runs for president, I will vote for him. But I think I'm done voting in presidential elections.
What about you, AA?
I mean, it doesn't matter. You can vote or not vote. Who cares?
Yeah, that's how I feel. Exactly.
Let's see. Reinhardt sent $10. Dave is going to skip the Antichrist Marathon episode entirely because I've already heard everything Adam Greenberg has to say about my faith. And it's both tiresome and easy to repost. Curiosity got the better of me, and I wish I hadn't. To say I expected more is the understatement of the year.
Oh.
Reinhardt is very upset with me. He does not think that I gave an adequate defense of the faith.
Yeah, it was 2-on-1. All right.
3-on-1. It was 3-on-1. And I just don't know how I'm going to engage in an argument with people that like literally believe that Jesus Christ was a myth.
I don't think that.
No. Adam and Devin do. And Richard Spencer too. And you know, I love Richard. But
does he really?
They believe that he is a myth. And so there is no winning an argument with somebody unless one side or the other can like prove. And of course, everything that we would have in our arsenal to try to prove that Jesus Christ was real, the letters from Pontius Pilate, from Josephus, the Bible itself as historical evidence of Christ's existence, you know, let alone like the establishment of the church and all this. Because they reject that evidence, there's literally no way to win an argument against them. So I just didn't really try or care, and I just
I'm sorry, Reinhardt. You should blame me. Don't blame Dave. This was my fault.
Blame the woman. Let's see. Over on.
I just wanted to say real quick. I'm not a Christian, right? But I've been super into Pontius Pilate recently.
Yeah.
I really think that the guy was misunderstood, and I just think he's a very sympathetic character. I've been very into Pilate because, you know, as someone who studies politics and elite theory and stuff, if you were in the same spot, probably would have done it as well. Probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were threatening to cause a riot. You know, they were threatening to cause a riot. They were going to like call him up. They were calling his loyalty to Caesar into question. They're doing the exact same shit to Pontius Pilate what they do to our politicians today, because it's literally the
They were
same.
lobbying him.
And it's effective.
They were lobbying Pilate.
Yeah,
Right.
There is this. Yeah. Is this the? Okay. I don't know. There is. I'm trying to find this quote. There was a quote of Pontius Pilate describing Jesus Christ, and it's like, holy crap, he sounds awesome, you know. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, we are going over to Power Chat. We got a couple over there. Pacific Northwest Gorilla sent $50.
Thank you. We're looking forward to having you on.
He sent 3 juice boxes. Yeah, you got to bring a fuck bin when you come out here, man.
Excuse me?
Do you know what the fuck bins are? They're pretty cool. He like sells them on his website, and you pay $15, and you either get like a really cool piece of military surplus gear or a can of beans. So you don't know what you're gonna get. They're called fuck bins. It's pretty cool. Anyway, we are looking forward to that. We've got a big month lined up for October. Kicking it off strong, of course, here with Academic Agent. Book Track Groove sent $10 on Rumble. Academic Agent, have you ridden a horse? Why do people not do logistics checkup on these policies? The aristocratic utensil likes to talk about you. Have you talked with him? That was like 3 questions. So first, have you ridden a horse?
I have not ridden on a horse.
Really?
No.
But you're so delightfully British. I find that impossible.
You haven't played any croquet?
Yeah.
No, I've never done any horse riding. Met a few girls who liked horses back in the day. But,
All of them insane. Yes.
and what else? What else did he ask?
Logistics checks on policies.
I've never talked to him, but I interact with him on Twitter quite often, and I've watched a few of his videos as well. He seems like a good guy. He's a South African guy, right?
Aristocratic utensil? I am unsure.
I am also unsure, although I think I'm sub to him.
Thunderstorm 9 sent $10 on Rumble. Industrialists wrote books on 20-minute cities and token currency plans at the turn of the century. These books are not part of required reading at university, like King Gillette book, The City.
I can't see this.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I mean, it's going to sound odd, but you know, all these books here I've got behind me. This is Thomas Carlyle, one of Curtis Yarvin's heroes, right? He had this idea, Carlyle, of he was like, look, the capitalist class are letting us down, right, with all this laissez-faire nonsense. They're absentee landlords. They need to take control of the ship of state. They need to steer things, and they need to step up and be the new aristocrats, right? So just like people used to have social bonds with their lords in a feudal village, right? He wanted industrialists to be the new captains of industry. And some people did actually take this idea on board. I'm not sure if Gillette was one, but Bourneville certainly was one. And they made these beautiful looking, they like built houses for their workers. And Henry Ford was into this sort of stuff as well. Mm-hmm. And Henry Ford, you know, he built a lot of stuff for Detroit before it was wrecked. You know, hospitals, and he set up schools and newspapers as well, which I'm sure you're aware of. You know, so the idea of the captain of industry or of the industrialist genuinely acting as that kind of local aristocrat type thing is not, on the face of it, bad. Neither is the 15-minute city when you really start to think about it. You know, you live in a town, everybody you know is within 15 minutes. You're in a community, right? The only problem is that our current elites are evil, right? But the actual notion of it, of getting back to something like authentic feudal life or something where people actually have a community, they care about each other, they have genuine social bonds. I wouldn't just dismiss it out of hand because it sounds a bit dark or whatever. There's some good ideas in there for, you know, for me on the center left, and indeed for you rightists out there.
Well, we do have that up here.
There is this funny article, you reminded me of it. Henry Ford would replace gold with energy currency and stop wars. This was an article from like the 1920s. I just think it's funny. I think Henry Ford would have been a big supporter of Bitcoin.
Do you think so? Did you have to shoehorn that in? You're probably right.
Absolutely. I had to. Well, I had to. The question talked about token and currency plans and stuff. And I agree with the 15-minute city thing. I mean, I went on this pilgrimage once to Spain. We did the Camino Santiago over to Compostela. And we got like airdropped into a little town called Sarria. And we walked like 120 kilometers, you know. And it was interesting because it's like basically every 10 miles, you had a city. Mm-hmm. So you could do a day of walking and walk from one city to another, you know, and spend the night. But it was always reasonable. Like you could actually like get from one place to another without a car.
Right.
And the way that it was all laid out where you have these dense city centers. And then as you kind of go out from the city, it becomes more and more rural. And then within 10 miles, you're hitting a new city. Right. And it kind of does it again. The car has really fucked everything up.
Especially in America.
Yes. Sergeant Hodel sent $10. Is the GAE, Globalist American Empire, still a proper acronym for the United States? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
GAE or ZOG? Either or, interchangeable.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, I mean, I wrote an article years ago, in fact, called "What is the Gay? What is the GAE? What is the gay?" And in there, I explain why I prefer that to the other one that you mentioned. I have to say that in the past, well, really since what happened in Gaza, in Israel, 10/7, and really since Trump has come in, it's just become like a lot of questions have been answered. I think things that we couldn't quite work out from outside, things that we debated over. I think a lot of those questions have now been answered. And I would say, yes, the American kind of power system, the military industrial complex, as it does seem like it just answers, like it just does Netanyahu's bidding.
Of course.
And it's now so naked, so ridiculously naked, that they have these conversations on extremely mainstream shows. This is like stuff that we, would think about, or 5 years ago. All of those questions have been answered. It's just so naked and in your face at the moment, and literally with Netanyahu telling you to your face what's happening. Watch the latest Tucker Carlson. I mean, it's just wild.
I was just going to bring that up. Last night, Tucker Carlson did release an episode with Jeffrey Sachs.
Seriously?
About an hour and a half long.
He's Jewish.
Okay, yeah. So he also worked for like George Soros. He's kind of like a leftist, but it is interesting. I mean, it's a good episode. I mean, Tucker still does this thing where he makes these carve-outs like, oh, well, the real anti-Semites. And it's like, buddy, there are no real anti-Semites. That's the whole point, is like, that's fake. I mean, maybe there are, but the whole point is like when we all got canceled, it was for the same thing that Tucker's engaging in now. And so maybe we're 10 years down the line. That doesn't make us a real anti-Semite.
I'm a real anti-Semite.
I guess. I don't know. I just 601, but
I of course condemn all bigotry.
You're legally required to.
Right.
Yes, I think terrible what happened today.
I heard about this. There was a car terrorist attack in Manchester, I guess. A couple people are dead. Somebody has driven a car into a synagogue.
I think there was stabbings involved as well.
Oh, really?
Who was it?
Yeah, the police. Well, I'm not actually sure if we know who it was yet, but certainly it looks like it may be, a messenger from the religion of peace. But you have to remember that the true spirits of Manchester is that we don't look back in anger. Don't look back in anger, because that's what happened. If you remember.
Oh, we remember.
If you remember, everybody got their candles out,
Yes.
and they got their Oasis song out, and Don't Look Back in Anger. So that was my immediate response today. Because they're well, as you can imagine, the rhetoric is quite different now, right? But to come back to the Jeffrey Sachs thing, I do think there's quite a serious, tactical consideration to make when it comes to this topic. If you have a look in history, when it comes to this particular group that we're talking about, they have always made vertical relationships with power. Okay, it was they were there on the as guests of the king in many, many cases. I watched a guy years ago called Leon Weissleiter, who talked very openly about this. In fact, you can still watch it now because it blows my mind that it was the Atlantic magazine, and the conversation was, should the Jews leave Europe? And Leon Weissleiter was one of the speakers. Do you know what he said? Right in the course of that stream, the last question was, what should the last Jew do before he leaves Europe? And he said, he said spit.
This was my radicalizing moment. This is the time. This is the point that I've told you about this before. Yeah. Because Millennial Woe sent this to me in 2016, and I became a turbo anti-Semite after I saw it.
Well, I remember it too. And what was stunning about that is I happened to have seen him in a different context when he was talking to a French nationalist and basically berating her for not being a liberal. And then he went on that stream, and when he was literally, as ethno-narcissistic as you can imagine. but anyway, there's a serious point here, which is that, he said, well, they'd always made vertical relationships with power. Okay. But when you look at every time that things have gone wrong, it is because of an unprincipled exception, or a Schmittian exception, if you want to put it that way, that is made specifically for them, like a special privilege, i.e., there's one law that applies to everybody else and a different law that applies to them. Okay, and this has a habit of getting people's backs up, and it starts to piss people off. And it's actually, when you start to look into expulsions in history, this is what has happened. Okay, I was reading about Stalin. I've been into Stalin the past few months, and actually finding out that some of the things that we think about Stalin may not be true. A lot of the things we think about Stalin came from Trotsky, right? You went to New York. But if you have a look at what happened in the Soviet Union, same issues started occurring. Of course, under communism, everybody has to be the same. Everybody's a comrade. It's all about equality. It's all about everybody being the same. But special carve-outs, special privileges, and of course, Stalin, being a true socialist or communist, he was like, well, I can't have this, So when it comes to somebody like Jeffrey Sachs, and when it comes to this current split that we have between hardcore Zionists, right, and people like Max Blumenthal, Dave Smith, and Jeffrey Sachs, I actually think it would be a mistake not to kind of ally with them at this moment, because the world that they are trying to move towards, right, the world of Dave Smith and Jeffrey Sachs and Blumenthal, is a world where this special carve-out, right, if you think about what they're actually talking about, they're talking about a system where they have to follow the same rules as everybody else, which has never actually been achieved in any of these other systems. Whereas the Zionists want this world where we all have to live in gay world, right? They get to live in, well, whatever it is that Israel is at the moment, okay? And everybody notices, well, hold on a second, you guys are like insane, religious, fanatical, ethno-nationalists over here, and we all have to live by a different set of rules over here. So what I'm saying is, at this moment, I think it's, the most realistic thing to aim for is a world where finally, how can I put this? They kind of just join everybody else. Not having the special could just be the same as everyone else, right? No,
of course not. If I had a quarter for every time I trusted a Jew and they reverted to type, even Max Blumenthal has done it on numerous occasions. I consistently regret trusting Jews, even if they're singing my tune, because they always fail me. I think that we should have a strict no Jews policy under any circumstances.
Well, I think when it comes to power and like elected office and like being representatives, yeah, I would agree with that. But at the same time, I do think it is infuriating to Zionists to tweet out a video of Jeffrey Sachs basically saying all the exact same things that we say. Like it is.
Yes, but we shouldn't.
It is helpful rhetorically for the argument. But then, like, we're not going to make Jeffrey Sachs president.
Yes, but this is what we did with Candace Owens. We allowed her in the movement because we were like, all right, she's going to shift the Overton window in our favor. And then she takes over this sector of the right with her slop peddling. And this is what these Jews are going to do. They're going to come into the movement with things that we find appealing, that we agree with. And then once they have power, they will revert to type and undo everything. We have to be more staunch here about our standards for people that have opinions that everybody's listening to.
Well, there is something that I was kind of wondering about. I was on the phone actually with Sam Parker last night for about an hour, and we were kind of wondering out loud and talking about the idea of like, okay, so what if Tucker Carlson is actually backed by Yesh Atid?
Ugh.
Do you know what Yesh Atid?
Yeah.
It's the number 2 party in Israel when it comes to elected representation in the Knesset. They are definitely like center left. They are opposed to the Netanyahu regime. And so it is kind of interesting to wonder about that. Like, so is Yesh Atid perhaps backing these types of people like Jeffrey Sachs and Tucker Carlson, maybe even Candace Owens?
It's a pressure release valve because they have to address these problems.
Well, no, they want Bibi Netanyahu out and they want Yair Lapid in.
Right, but they also want to normalize seemingly the center-right Jewish opinions. I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm throwing it out there. I
mean,
think I've ever heard anybody
my-
even remotely allege an association. But go ahead.
I guess what I'm saying is, okay, all right, you may have a menu of stuff you'd want, right? A preference scale, want to put it that way, okay? But there's quite a reality gap between where you are now and utopian-based world, right? Whatever that would look like. And what I'm saying is, as a kind of short to medium term goal, wouldn't a first step towards that just to be to end the unprincipled exception, the carve out, right? As a kind of realistic, achievable goal for the here and now, ending that special carve out. So if Israel is to continue to exist, it doesn't exist as this kind of insane kind of warmongering imperial project, whatever it is. It just becomes another country like Belgium or something, which has the same rules, same norms, etc. And also within American politics, you don't get this special carve out for AIPAC and so on. They also have to be just the same as every other group. Just stop the exception. And I think that is actually, from where we are right now, an achievable short-term goal. What happens after that, you can then debate, but let's just try to do that one bit. I know, Rebecca, you're more maximalist. You want to go further, but
well, I just don't believe that Jews can do that because Israel is a Jewish state and they believe more fervently than any other religion that they're God's chosen people and they hate Gentiles. I think that the carve out, instead of eliminating one, you would create one where supposed right-wing Jews could be subversive. There is no world in which Israel will accept the terms of other nations where they'll want to be like other nations or except if we put restrictions on them. It's never going to happen. They believe they're God's chosen people. They believe that we are subhuman. They will never do this.
Well, I think that the issue is that if we were able to cut out the carve out that they currently have, if we were able to restrain AIPAC and fix the counterintelligence problem that we have in the country to the religious Zionists and the people in Likud, they would view that as an existential threat in and of itself. And so they would begin to counteract that to a point that would bring about the end of the state of Israel itself. You see what I'm saying? Because they think it is an existential problem, they would never allow that to happen. So I guess I'm saying I agree with what Academic Agent is saying and is suggesting that we would shoot for. But I think that in doing that, it would cause a reaction from the Zionists that would inevitably undo their own thing altogether.
But what about the concept that is so innate to Jews of Jewish spiritual supremacy?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But there's no undoing that.
No.
So it's not about the state of Israel.
No.
It's about Jews.
It's about the Jewish nation.
Just imagine for a second, though, you put Max Blumenthal, Jeffrey Sachs, and Dave Smith in charge of Israel. It would be a lot more of a normal country than it is under Netanyahu, as an example, right? Because so there is a kind of, maybe, you see, the thing is, if this exception is ended, the one that I'm talking about, it may be such an existential problem, not only for Israel, but for the power structure that is built up in America itself, that it would almost be like a kind of mini revolution or something in how things have worked. Right. Now, then we've got another problem, because I always say there are two problems, right? One is this Zionist thing we've all been talking about recently. The other one is the other thing we were talking about, Tony Blair and digital ID and the globalists, the Davos lot, the people with those dark, the people with the dark globalist plans. And that's a different issue, I think. But so I think about this in a very different way from a lot of people, because once you study this question and these people that you're talking about, you realize that it always comes down to this carve out. Okay. Well, when you think about that, that is quite petty in a way. You know what I mean? Like, if your ambition is always to get this little bit of special privilege for yourself, that's quite a small goal. Whereas the globalist issue, like a man like Tony Blair or Klaus Schwab or any of the Bill Gates, right? This is a more distinctly European problem. Oswald Spengler calls it Faustianism, right? This idea that everybody has to live by all of the same rules. Everywhere in the world has to be the same way. And Spengler argued that this is something that is intrinsic to Europeans, this Faustianism, this kind of love of an abstract ideal, whether it was, back in the days of Gregory the Seventh and Crusade and things like that, or now in today's form, it comes out as globalism and values and all this sort of stuff. That's a separate fight, but we can't really have that fight until we deal with it. Like, a lot of people in the current moment think you can use the Zionists to bring down the globalists.
No,
I think it has to be the other way around. The Zionists are an issue, but it's almost like a kind of sub boss, and then the globalists are the end boss. If that makes any sense.
No, I understand what you're saying. Using the globalists to dismantle the Zionists, and then once they're gone, then getting globalism. But then you may have the same issue with globalism. We don't know. It's kind of, but that definitely does seem to be where things are going, right? I mean, you look at France, you look at Spain, you look at a lot of these European countries. They're recognizing Palestine. They're cutting off arms shipments to Israel. And so it does seem like the globalists in Europe are anti-Israel, and they're kind of winning right now.
So in the current moment, for example, you meant to, you, the rightist is meant to hate Greta Thunberg.
Mm-hmm.
You're meant to hate Greta Thunberg because she's an evil leftist. At this moment, I think it's good to just get behind Greta. Greta Thunberg is actually doing the true Faustian European thing. She's like a modern crusader going over there, bringing values values to an unprincipled Middle Eastern tribe, right? In a classic European way.
Yeah.
And you see, this is it. Because by doing that, you deny the frame that they want, the frame that the modern incarnation of TPUSA want you to be like, oh, say what you want about Israel, but at least they took out Greta Thunberg or whatever. Like, I see people make those sort of jokes. Just deny their frames whenever you can. And if it means in the short term having to do stuff like that, that's fine. Because you're like, in my view, this current moment, the situation as it is right now, they've never been more unpopular. They've never been. So all eyes should just be on make any alliances you can, whether it's Dave Smith or Jeffrey Sachs or whatever, until that problem is dealt with. And then once that's dealt with, we can go back to, fighting these people.
Right.
Go back to what?
No, I agree. I tend to agree with him. I think so. We have a few more super chats here to get to. Book Track Groove sent $10 on Rumble. Academic Agent, have the British people been able to build families? It seems British people has to meet in secret like home churches, hire more Euros blonde to bring to America.
Well, I mean, just like a country, the marriage has declined and birth rate has been going down. But it's not that people like the real thing behind that is just women in work. Women are encouraged to go to university, get a corporate job, and they're not actually. People don't start families until they're in their 30s. That's
right.
the total
It's a
short
Western
of it. Back
problem.
in the day, people would have kids when they were 20. I mean, I remember being 18 and it was really taboo when I was growing up to be like a teenage mother. It was like a massive blue put on it. And it was just like, oh, what? You're having a kid, wrecking your life and all this sort of stuff. But now, of course, people are starting families way too late. Then they can only have one or two kids. And, it comes with other issues. There's increased chance of miscarriage when you're older. All of these things, I'm sure your audience know about. That's really the issue. It's women in work in their most fertile years.
Of course, college,
and of course, then there's. I mean, this is a huge problem, not just for Britain but for every country. Women who reach 40, they still haven't had kids. They're not married. They're working as a journalist or something, and then they have to kind of justify it, like they have to come up with copes. Actually, I'm really happy. I've married myself. All this sort of stuff. It's a cope, right? But it's still then sold, and younger people read it. So it's a self-perpetuating problem. And I honestly don't know what the answer to it is, because then there's a imbalance. You get below replacement birth rate, and that drives mass immigration, of course, because then the people like Elon Musk and capitalists are like, oh, hold on a second, the line's going to go down. We need more people. And then governments were like, well, okay, let's bring in another 6 million, 10 million people.
Of course.
It's a disaster. It really is a disaster.
Was that the last one?
No, sorry. I was looking at my phone, and I shouldn't have been looking at my phone. I should be heading the game. Cage Mushinjuro. How do I say this?
I don't know. I took my glasses off.
Kagi Mushinjuro. Man, can you guys come up with some normal usernames?
Help Dave out, please.
Like, I don't know. I was just trying to
Blonde's Mommy Milkers.
Blonde's Mommy Milkers. There's a good name. Anyway, Cage Mushinjuro sent $10 on Rumble. Glad to see you've been following up on CRS, Academic Agent. Looks like that has now ended. Any independent Zionist-free organization would need severe internal screening to be viable. What he's talking about here is this community relations service. This was a group, I believe they were even deployed after Charlottesville. This was like a federal group that would go around to a town where, like, if, let's say, a black guy stabs a white woman in the neck, CRS would be deployed to hold rallies and counseling to try and make sure that white people didn't get pissed off.
And this has been defunded.
This has been defunded according to the document.
Wasn't this deployed after Austin Metcalf?
No, this was deployed like in the 1960s.
Oh, I thought that there was some sort of nonprofit organization that was going around for the Austin Metcalf and similar situations. Molly Tibbetts giving the family talking points.
Yeah, that might have been this. I do remember Community Relations Service was involved with Charlottesville in the wake, the fallout from that. But maybe Academic Agent knows more.
Yeah, the reason he's brought that up is because I made a video on it. And then after making that video, I went on Aaron McIntyre's show. And there was we and some of my buddies in America were able to get it on the radar of people like Rufo and the Trump administration and so on. So in a weird way, we kind of made it happen. So I was pleased with that because it means like, at least I haven't wasted the past 10 years. At least I got rid of that scumbag service. And I tell you what, if you read the book, it was actually written by two of the original guys who were part of it. And before you ask, yes, every single one of them was. Yeah. But I mean, it's honestly, the entire history of civil rights is closely man-managed. They let nothing to chance at all.
Yes.
Basically ensuring that the African-American community stayed on the Martin Luther King reservation and never went Malcolm X, basically.
Right. And then, of course, when Martin...
But also covering up crimes done against white people and many, many other things that they did as well. So.
Yeah, and of course, when Martin Luther King started to signal that he himself was going to be leaving the reservation and I guess recognizing the struggle for Palestinian rights.
What happened?
Well, he got shot by a lone wolf shooter that's, very reminiscent of what happened to Charlie Kirk, and JFK and RFK and all these weird lone wolf shooters that just happen to pop up. And, that was another thing Sam and I were talking about too, is like, I don't think Israel killed Charlie, but when you look at it from different lenses, like for sure the angle of like Israel killed Charlie Kirk because he was about to break off and do his own thing.
No.
That obviously is disproven, I think, at this point, like that angle of it. But when you do look at what was Charlie Kirk doing, he had a strong centralized outfit that he operated as a kingmaker. People that wanted to run for office needed to go through Charlie, right? And
that's not true anymore. Didn't Bry Lynn or whatever that homo's name is just show up to a bunch of Turning Point events and anoint himself?
Yeah, he got brought in by
I don't know. I'm starting to think that TPUSA was not the influential network that it's been. Do you know anybody that's been seriously influenced by TPUSA? When you compare it to the other organizations that are on the ground, like college Republicans or the Young Republicans, there were more chapters of TPUSA, more members of TPUSA. The budget was 50 times bigger. It was, a hefty organization to contend with. I just don't have the intellectual energy to schizo post about any of this stuff.
I know. We should bring Sam on. He lays it out well. Okay, we got a couple more.
Let's just do the ones that are
$10 and up. I know.
No, addressed to him, so we can let him go.
What is this? I already pressed the button.
I have the night because I remember I'm not in a rush. Don't worry.
Aiden Paladin is premiering on YouTube. How Hard Times Make Strong Men. The Thrivers Willard Hypothesis. Blonde, you would like this data. That's your homework for the week.
Aiden Paladin.
I don't know who that is.
Is excellent. She is an excellent female YouTuber. There, I said something.
No e-girls. Never.
Listen, she's I know I said all those things about Jews just a minute, but if we're going to make exceptions for women, she is one of them.
Okay. We're making exceptions for women now on this podcast.
You guys were just talking about making exceptions for Jews. I think we can make a few exceptions for women, okay?
Heaven help us. Cage Mushinjuro. Oh, go ahead.
I think Aiden Paladin, I met her a couple of times. I think she's pretty severely autistic, which helps.
That's great. Yeah.
That's helpful. Yeah. Women that are autistic, not bad. My wife, a little autistic, little on the spectrum. She's great. I'm ADD, so it works together.
Autism plus ADD equals
superpowers. Cage Mushinjuro sent $10. How do you think BRICS comes into play in the Western economic policies of the future? Using blockchain allows Eastern countries to separate from Western dependency, or are they forever dependent also?
Is that a question to me?
Apparently.
Yes.
I believe so.
Was it about crypto, was it? Or
it was about BRICS and...
Do you want to reread it?
How do you think BRICS comes into play in the Western economic policies of the future? Using blockchain allows Eastern countries to separate from Western dependency, or are they forever dependent also?
No, I think that if it gets going, there'll come a moment where America is not able to keep the dollar supremacy going. That's inevitable at some point in the future. Unless you believe the American empire will last forever, but it won't. So that day will come at some point.
Yeah.
So and it will probably come sooner if America doesn't cut off Israel soon. I think America is torching its credibility, its moral legitimacy, and everything else in the eyes of not just the world but its own people.
Yes.
For Israel. So this it's getting like it's a crisis point, and if Trump won't do it, maybe the next president will. But that point is going to come.
I think we're toast. I think we're there.
Gavin Newsom, save us.
Get out of here.
I'm kidding.
Wouldn't hold my breath on him.
Yeah, really. He is the face of Satan. I understand this is a meme.
He looks like the Joker.
He does.
Right? He looks like the Joker.
Beautiful white family, though.
Yeah. Thunderstorm 9 sent $10. Canaanite didn't fight their enemies. They kill them. They use the tactic Arma instead of fighting. They disguise and infiltrate. We Europeans have to stop projecting our sensibilities onto others.
This is a problem that we have, particularly libertarians. We have to accept the reality of the people that surround us. So I was talking to my friend the other day, and how I have a seething hatred of certain groups, and he's like, that's so pointless. You need to accept certain groups as though they're animals that are just doing what their biological imperative is. Like, you need to think more logically about this because you're making emotional decisions based upon your hatred. So just be like, this group of people acts this way. They're destined to always act this way, and look at it unemotionally. And that is helping me change my perspective a little bit because I am governed by hatred.
Yeah, you should work on that.
Should I, though?
Yeah.
It's my armor.
No, I think
there is. I can't remember who it was that I was watching recently, but they said something like, "Look, you've got to stop. You've got to stop thinking that they wouldn't do that. Surely, you wouldn't do that.
Right. Yes.
They might.
yes.
So yeah, that is a difficulty because a lot of the times, how can I put it? Like, just the sheer gall, just the sheer like, I can't believe they've gone there type thing. Because it just wouldn't even occur to most normal people. And I'm not necessarily only just talking about them either. A lot of the white people, American and European, British, in power, are psychos. So that a lot of people who find themselves in positions of power now aren't normal. They don't have a normal moral compass.
Yeah.
So they're prepared to do things and go places that most people wouldn't. And it's kind of like, it can get to mind-boggling levels of evil, is what I'm saying. But you cannot apply, when you're studying power, you can't apply like a normal morality to it at all.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, they're literally talking about openly nuking, Israel, Jonathan Pollard specifically, we talked about this on the show last night, openly talking about nuking their neighbors as they are starving the Gazan children and the women and the civilians. They're out there calling, altar boys at the local Catholic church terrorists. So yeah, these people, they have no limits. They have no moral nothing stopping them from doing whatever we might consider heinous. And it is important because it's real. And I do feel like a lot of, we watch a lot of content online, blood sports, internet, and we do kind of forget that like there are just people out there that will just kill you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like where we're at. That is where we're at.
I do. I mean, again, I don't want to sound like a cuck here. All right. But I do think that because there was a lot of talk of Erica Kirk and forgiveness and being strong and Jesus and things like this, right? Recently, I do think it is dangerous to be too overly focused on your own kind of feelings of hatred, you want to put it that way, or like if you're completely consumed with wanting to destroy the enemy, right? In a weird way, you give that enemy power, right? Because what you focus on, you give power to, right? I don't want to sound like kind of woo here or something, but there is a kind of esoteric truth to this, and I've had to learn it over many years. If you because if you've been doing this long enough, you'll have people who wrong you, you'll have people who betray you, you'll have people who, once you've been doxxed and all sorts of bad things that may happen to you. You can get these feelings of revenge and these feelings of hatred and all these sorts of things. If you let those consume you, in a weird way, you're giving those people power.
Yes.
So there is a strength in being able to just let it go, or just say, like, actually, you don't have that power over me. I am in control of that. And this is why I always tell people to read Julius Evola, right? Because especially if they're not Christian, right? You can get this strength through faith or through the Bible or something like that. But if you want an orientation, Evola is a good person to get a start in how to just be stoic, like how to find that inner strength and stoicism and sense of control and peace.
But
right?
hatred is so highly motivating. And
retribution
is cathartic. Yeah. It feels so good to get revenge on people.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that it can kind of
it takes your soul piecemeal. I understand what you're saying.
Control over you.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, again, maybe Evola won't be that good for you though, because you're a woman.
That is true. I don't know. I don't know that I even. It's like a leopard changing its spots. I'm not sure that I could even turn into a stoic person.
If you stare into the abyss will stare into you.
It's pretty close to what he said, but
something to that effect. Recusant sent $15 AA for the British English anti-globalist movement to succeed. Does it need to separate itself from U.S. politics? It seems to me that the lessons learned from U.S. politics don't apply in Britain, and attention is a diversion that acts like containment.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying for years that people have to de-Americanize their brains, their thinking. Again, Evola is a good start because if you understand what he's saying, America is a nation founded exactly on the opposite of European tradition, right? For better or for worse, that is what it is. And it's going to lead to all the things that we've seen, liberalism and, kind of a relaxation of social values and all these sorts of things. I know a lot of people disagree with this, but my view is that it's going to, like, Americanism as an ideology is inherently radical and anti-traditional, anti-European tradition in particular. And if you have a look at what's happened since we've all come under the American empire, they try to make every nation a kind of miniature version of itself, like a propositional nation that, is built on immigrants and all this sort of stuff. Like the same lies. These things aren't necessarily true of America, but this is what America has become for one reason or another. And now it's rolled out. And so every other country has to have its share of, race problems and all the rest of it. I do think that the best thing anybody can do, whether they're American or not, is to de-Americanize their mind. And by that, I mean getting rid of absolute poison, like libertarianism, for example.
Indeed.
Like a retarded idea that you can find order through anarchy.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking stupid. No, you find order through order.
I would also
through power.
I would suggest that light switch brain is something that needs to be removed from people's brains, because we're seeing that with what's going on now with like this whole Palestine thing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Light switch brain? It's like off and on thinking, or
like black and white thinking.
Yeah, well, black and white, but it's basically just like I don't know. I don't even know what okay, so like a form of light switch brain thinking is like, okay, you're a Democrat, you're for abortion, therefore I'm going to go vote Republican. And so then you vote for the Zionist as opposed to the anti-Zionist.
Right.
You know, so it's like they take these polarizing issues and then make it on or off. And then...
So it's just a lack of nuance in
there's
thinking.
no way to get, any kind of nuance in thinking where it's like, the pro-Palestinian people, they're communists, therefore they're bad, whatever. Light switch brain thinking can be very problematic. And I think that's like a uniquely American thing that has happened, and I've seen it introduced in European politics. That was Arthur Finkelstein that came up with light switch brain thinking for the Ronald Reagan campaign in the 1980s. Anywho, I think we have one last super chat. I lied. We do. Never mind. Soaker City sent $5 on entropy. Can we talk about Alex Kreiner's hypothesis, which is that the City of London and the Old British Empire is just ahead of El Judeo and America as the most insidious power? Israel is a U.S. puppet, etc. Alex Kreiner.
Just stupid. Absolute crap. I mean, I did a whole stream with my buddy Horus looking at that. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's just rubbish.
Yeah. Well, I think that does wrap it up for our super chats.
Mr. Academic Agent, where can people find you?
I take it back. We just got one.
Oh, okay.
Son of a bitch. They do this. They like to do this. They like to
This is from
trickle in.
Crusader. Archon Crusader.
Archon Crusader. $10. Before you presume to stand in defense of our faith, you should marshal your arguments and do it in the justice that God demands.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Exactly the same comment that Reinhard made?
He might be talking to me because I'm basically a Catholic in name only.
Yeah, you ganged up on me with the...
I did it for a really good reason, and that's that it was very funny.
I don't want to argue with spiritual retards. If they want to believe something asinine like Jesus didn't exist, then what
I
am
disagree with them there.
Yeah. Okay.
But on matters pertaining to Catholicism, I refer to the Pope. I accept the authority of the Pope. Whatever he says is Catholicism.
Here, hold on. I'm pulling up your YouTube accounts now. By the way, did you see he blessed ICE yesterday? So Immigration and Custom Enforcement going to be hitting the streets harder than ever, rounding up illegals.
The Pope did something. Look at that.
Yeah, he blessed ICE.
Academic Agent, where can people find you?
So I'm on YouTube, Academic Agent. I'm on Twitter as well, as you saw. I'm on Substack under my own name, which is Nima Parvini. You can find me on Substack now. I've recently changed my name on there. I have a course where I have a site where I sell courses called the Academic Agency. There's a sale on at the moment.
Shredder.
Promo code Shredder gets you 25% off because I'm obsessed with compost at the moment.
You got to get that phosphorus compost. Increase
Still on
the
40 degrees. I need to get up to 60 degrees Celsius. That is. I know you guys use Fahrenheit.
60.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's kind of chilly. I don't know.
Thank you so much for joining us. That was a great discussion. We really appreciate it.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Amazing.
Let's do a few ads.
Yes.
Shredder. Promo code Shredder. That's his ad.
A second. Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the ad. We do have to give thanks to our sponsors, one of them being Antelope Hill Publishing, America's premier dissident book publisher. They're fighting to keep history alive amidst a regime of anti-white censorship and to publish a new generation of dissident, radical, and right-wing researchers, philosophers, polemicists, and writers. They have an eclectic catalog that includes veteran right-wing authors and academics like Carrie Bolton, Dr. Ricardo Duchesne, and Paul Kersey, as well as newer figures like Lord Miles Rowledge of Afghanistan, Josh Neal, and Christian Secor, in addition to a long list of original translations or modern reprints of otherwise inaccessible historical works from eras such as fascist Italy, National Socialist Germany, and even medieval Europe. Their original works include groundbreaking investigations into the causes and funding behind transgenderism and the opioid crisis, books on Christian nationalism and American folktales. Additionally, Antelope Hill also contributes to the regeneration of our culture and rebirth of our family values Through their top quality fiction, including books like Let Them Look West and World Separated, and a collection of beautifully illustrated and wholesome children's books. Whatever your interest is, you're bound to find books that you like at Antelope Hill, all professionally published and with cover art that will grace your bookshelves. Help us and help our people by checking out companies that share our values and work to preserve the birthright of our history. Visit Antelope Hill Publishing today and definitely pick up a copy of Kevin McDonald's Culture of Critique.
Indeed.
Very good book. Have a copy. Are we going to get him on?
We're going to try.
That'll be good.
Who else we got? We got North Idaho Tallow.
Damn it. We got new super chats. Recusen sent $10. Please ask academic agent to give reading recommendation again before he goes. Author begins with an E, didn't catch the rest. We will send him a DM. I will send him a DM. We will figure out what that book was.
The Wing
Idaho.
Tassar said, thanks for all you do. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Aw, thank you.
I often feel like you all hate us.
Sometimes.
I
We go
do.
back and forth. It's a little hot and cold with the
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah, it is a little hot and cold.
If you're tired of skincare packed with chemicals you can't pronounce, North Idaho Tallow Company keeps it simple with grass-fed tallow, time-tested ingredients, and zero junk. Their soaps, balms, and lip balm are packed with bioavailable nutrients your skin actually needs. No endocrine disruptors, no fillers, just rugged, reliable skincare that works. So ditch the synthetic garbage and switch to North Idaho Tallow Company. Get yours at idahotallow.com. And, maybe they could make a good trick-or-treat gift, too. You could
That's a great idea.
Get some Idaho tallow chapsticks, maybe.
I know that pumpkin spice
Where's
is
the-
basic bitch stuff, but I do not care.
Yeah, I mean, how about this as a little thing? Instead of giving kids candy, maybe give them some lip balm.
I gave some of that to my husband, and he uses it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And doesn't think it's gay.
Oh, really?
So there's that. I think we got one more. Did we talk? Oh, we need to talk Atlas.
We need to talk about Atlas Bullion. Now, see, after talking with academic agent, my accent is
He's got a very posh accent.
Very posh. It's indeed true.
Did you hear him say bullocks?
Bollocks.
Bullocks.
Bollocks. Anyway.
This is something that makes me sad about it being American.
What, that we don't have...
Yeah, we could sound so posh and erudite, and instead we all sound like hicks.
That's very anti-white of you.
I don't know what to tell you. A woman with a Jersey accent, she, no matter how smart she is, you cannot convince me that she's not retarded. Like from a clinical standpoint.
I love Jersey accents.
It is terrible.
Like reminds me of...
On a man, you can pull it off.
Yeah, but on a woman talking about like, hey, I got to make the gravy. What are you doing?
Nope,
Sit
no
down. You look hungry. Has your mother been feeding you? You know, that kind of stuff.
No.
I love it.
Absolutely not. Southern accents likewise make people, if you don't sound like Shelby Foote, you sound like you're retarded.
I don't like Southern accents as much.
Yeah, they're no good.
I like the Northeast New England accents.
That's acceptable.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Atlas Bullion, as the economy goes to shit in a handbag, as it goes to hell in a handbag.
There it is.
Hell in a handbag.
It goes to shit in a purse. That's the right phrase.
When
right?
you need to take a shit in a purse, go to atlasbullion.com. No, I'm kidding. Please go to atlasbullion.com/backlash. There is a lot of bad things happening economically that are going to be shaking out over the next couple of months. You can protect yourself by stocking up on gold and silver with their premium silver and gold subscriptions with plans as low as $55 a month for silver, $200 a month for gold. They also have a diverse subscription that'll get you a little nugget of gold and a couple of silver pieces as well. It's a great way to start stacking. You can also make one-time buys, bigger buys, if you want to reduce some of the premium that you wind up paying per coin. You can also roll over your IRA or your 401k if you want to get it out of some risky speculative stocks and put it into something like gold or silver. Kenzie at Atlas Bullion can help you do that. They also have, little legends, legacy builders, these options for, kids or elderly people. Apparently, maybe it's elderly people. I don't know. Anyway, go to atlasbullion.com/backlash and please buy some gold and silver. Protect yourself, protect your wealth.
That gold silver ratio is going to hit 91.
It's going to any moment, and I'm here for it.
I'm here for
I'm
it.
absolutely here for it. Platinum also at $1,575. Gold at $3,859.
Good Lord.
Unbelievable. I wish I had bought more gold when I was like a teenager.
I wish I had bought Bitcoin when I was a teenager.
True.
I wish I hadn't sold my Bitcoin when I was 27.
Well, you bought a house with it, though. That's very good. It's gonna. By the way, Bitcoin is on an absolute tear.
I don't want to talk about it. No. What is it at 121?
Look at this. Look at this. It is at 120. Yeah, 121. This is over a year.
I can't.
Over the past 6 months, we are. How much are we up? We are up 50% over the past 6 months.
Is it at 124 right now?
Yes.
No.
Yes, it is. And look, even over the past week, we are up 10% in 1 week. And of course, if you want to buy some Bitcoin, you can do that on our website. Affiliate links, you can hit buy Bitcoin. It takes you to our friends at Oh, come on. Really? You're going to make me do this? Please prove you're a human. I got a show to run here, buddy.
They're always so confusing.
River Bitcoin. You can set up an account there. We get a small kickback when you do. And of course, you can also buy one of the best Bitcoin wallets at blockstream.com. We have a special link that you can use. And anything you buy there, we get a 10% kickback on. So,
I get a lot of bitching from the audience about our shilling. I'm telling you guys right now.
Send more super chats.
Yeah, you cannot make a show these days without shilling multiple products. So we did the best that we could, which is get products that we actually believe in. Yeah.
True.
So I am sorry, but it's just impossible to run a podcast without doing it these days.
Listen, we're going to, if you don't start sending more super chats, we're going to pick up a sponsorship with Super Beats. We are going to be doing Super Beats commercials. It's very tasty. It's got all kinds.
Absolutely not. I saw Dana Lash doing one.
With Super Beats commercials.
Yes, she looks unrecognizable, by the way.
By the way, did you see Candace Owens has like some sort of competing tallow brand that supports her?
What a bitch.
Yeah, so definitely
buy Idaho tallow.
Buy Idaho tallow. Okay.
Is it for melanated skin? I bet it is.
Don't want to get ashy, do we?
Oh,
Candace?
God. We are never going to go anywhere mainstream.
Oh, no.
You and I.
It's okay.
It's over. It's over. We love you guys.
Have you seen these Terminator clips?
Thank you. No, we got to get out of here, man. Okay, one. I'll watch one.
This is so funny. You haven't seen this before? They've made this whole series of Charlie Kirk.
Yes, I heard about it. I haven't seen them.
Terminator Slop clips. This is so funny.
That's why 98% of wiggers are white. What's up, big guy?
Faggot on the roof. We have a faggot on the roof.
You mean a sniper?
Where do snipers sit? On roofs. Faggot on the roof. Kill the fucking faggot.
Oh my God.
My nigga, we got a problem.
Don't worry about it, Pookie. 2 Wigger missiles are en route.
And that's why.
Despite my attempts to not make this a slop show, it happens.
They have like a whole series of these
I'm not watching any more of these. Oh, for heaven's sake.
There's like a mini series. It's so funny.
Well, this is a proper application of AI. I will say that.
I do agree.
Thank you guys. Follow us on X at Real Backlash. Find all of our links at thebacklash.net. We will see you on Monday with.
Oh yeah, good. The Ron Paul Institute guy.
Ron Paul Institute guy.
Wow, this is awful. You put me on the spot. Daniel McAdams from the Ron Paul Institute will be joining us.
Thank you so much. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.